Skuk tash wusit bemoy Anya Isidro Lopez yam je taja baktenyok ton Adam Nursing Care Authority campus shaukut kuk aji chikran ton Adam jewet. Matugit po iwa ida water statash gokab masmap uwa humako tukam mo matuda hukam ha ton Adam corner the legislative council am je to hukam up church kran hai chika how true sham matata ba up am je mahasi masama up wa up mahamuch mata ha ke mo pa ga ke water sta mata ton Adam nation chairman ba chu ka chu ba up the uta hukam da ton Adam legislative council corner moga masama bua ba up church kran ka chairperson so ba wa up mata hamuch I tai da ba up district councils mo ba wa up oya hamuch acha masama kai mat mo chemu idam mo siku tai ko mo baga chairman office mataga mo degi kaga matrmo at boy Hawaii ko mo aget mo kak ma o mo aget tikwam mo has masam chim samurcho da idam ko no mo has masam banyoit chimo has tigi mo pa aga platform. Good morning, everybody. This is Isidro Lopez. I am live here at the Ton Adam Nursing Care Authority campus in Traucoot on the Great Ton Adam Nation. Every 2 years is tribal elections. One of the ways that they do the tribal elections is that half of the legislative council is up and some of the district council district councils are up. That's one way. The other way, which is this year, where they're going to do it, is where the highest seat of the nation, the Tohono O'odham Nation's chairperson seat is up. The other half of the council is up. The district chairs are also all up, and some of the district councils are up. So every week we are going to be calling in those four. There are 4 of them that are running this year for the nation's elections. We will be calling them up and we having them sit down, talk about their issues, talk about their platforms, maybe take some questions from us, and so that you can get to know it, but also that our residents get to know them as well, so they know who they're going to vote for when that time comes for voting day. Okay? Skuktash wusijipamoy Anya Isidro Lopez ya amjit Tohono O'odham Nursing Care Authority campus. How much today we have Leander Mase and also Ann Garcia. Idam amwa fogo motsiu kataikut, the chairman of the Tohono O'odham Nation election matam bojug water tatash. Leander og muamjit Freshnel Canyon wawakiwar chikshun tam the hukachum gacharihi chimhawum chip the Department of Homeland Security kumuchum taha mawukchit wawakiwar chikshun Legislative Council either Ann Garcia muamjit chu tam sifoy dak chikshun tam and mawi chip kana cancer prevention iya Tohono O'odham Nation chiba upuk homa uak chiga bachelor's degree of public administration chim up chim hawam chip kan gogox chiga mohanyuk the gogox chimimitor ami Pinal County tam bandamo chimota ko tiambo mawi the boho si introduction. So Leander?
Yes, good morning. I'd like to thank the Tohono O'odham Nursing Care Authority and Isidro for allowing us to be here this morning, so that way Ed and I could provide some information as to what we want to do when we are elected in the office of the chairman and vice chair. My parents are the late Leonard and Doris Mase. My father is Hopi, a member of the Hopi tribe. My mother is maiden name is Ventura. My maternal grandparents are the late Lawrence and Mary Ventura. I have 4 children, all grown, and I have 9 grandchildren.
Okay, Ann?
Skukstatic, Anya Jugit and Garcia. I come from the community of Chuchu. I'm married. I have 6 children. I have 13, 14, I lose count, grandchildren. I'm a great grandmother. My paternal grandparents are the late Willie and Irene Enos from Chuchu. My maternal grandparents are Jesus and Catherine Pancho. Jesus Pancho is from Santa Rosa, and my grandma Catherine is from the Chuchu area. Currently, I'm the cancer coordinator for the Health and Human Services Department for the Tohono O'odham Nation, and I also volunteer at the Pinal County Care and Control Animal Shelter in Casa Grande, Arizona.
Okay, so how much we're going to give them some time to talk about their platform and what they feel their experiences and their capabilities of running the Tohono O'odham Nation. So we'll go ahead and start with you, Leander.
Thank you, Isidro. Well, first of all, I think one of the first items that stands out on our platform is we're very concerned, as well as I'm sure everyone on the nation is concerned, about behavioral health. And breaking it down a bit more, behavioral health has to do with the mental health. As you know, we have serious issues and matters with alcoholism, drug dependency, and also for domestic violence, neglect, and having said that, it's important that we understand that and we address that, and it's one of the things that's really hurting our nation right now, and that is most important as to what we need to look into to make it to make the lives of our people better, because all this is based upon trauma. Trauma is a word that is used when someone experiences something that's very frightening, or something that's just totally abnormal in your life, where it affects you and it causes you to think in a way that it makes you uncertain, it makes you afraid, because you don't understand what that is and you don't know how to understand what you're dealing with. And sometimes that trauma is so severe that it escalates to a point to where it just overwhelms that person to where they need help, but they don't know where to go. And when they have nowhere to go, then they find other means necessary to them to take away that pain, to take away that trauma that they're experiencing. And the best way I can describe trauma is when we had foreign wars, and our men would go to fight battle, and they come back, and there was just something that missing in their lives in terms of leaving normal and coming back abnormal, and that was because of post-traumatic stress syndrome, and or post-traumatic stress disorder, and that went unidentified for a long time, but that's what we're experiencing ourselves. And so on our platform, that's at the very top, to be able to provide help, counseling, and to be able to provide facilities in order for us to be able to address this issue, because it's so important.
Okay. Haga mas'a kagim modita sihama ka tsiwu pakam matpam joinim mabu'a ka trauma mampui hai samach matama hai cho skoka moha machukta da chama si tat ken ubi chamui chapua matagita ba hai cho masma mataka alcohol o wuyohi o hai cho upa wuyohi hagam mapi kugach kad ma idam ma samach mat hagad siham hagi ma si tacho idam jewat mat moham hai ha afchar ma asi masma bia ma bochoy kad services idam mat mohanya hagam nas da wachi chama o gamoy ham sada hai de chamodi mat patse das ita ma ba trauma hagam ma tiasi wufakam mat cham sajonya bia masma choy ma pekai masrat hagi mat si masma sinyaidam am pasi masam sinyaidam mobi chapawa matakit ma jiwa shondar ta matona ta ga shondar ko jiwa ta moi hai chom chukta ma ma chut ka bimo isisa hema ka toa ka chamo ka mashkia chukta ko ya ita hagi ma ba ga mashmo ya masham cham si wa ya ta roket but si wo kam ida mat pa mnya. So okay, how much one pata ka Leander?
Yes, and the other item on our platform is everyone knows the condition of our roads on the nation. Some roads are so bad that they're impassable and they cause damage to vehicles. And I'm referring to potholes. I know that this is something that's been going on over the years, but in order for us to be able to have, I'm looking at commerce. When it comes to time when we're able to go into like a business or industry on the nation to bring jobs to our people. Commerce requires on conveying the goods, conveying the merchandise, and if our roads aren't in good condition, then we're not going to be able to transport those commodities to where they need to go. A lot of what has occurred is because of constant travel on those roads, and even our state highway is in pretty bad condition. So hopefully the state will take care of that part. But as a nation, we also have to look into investment in the roads because, as I was referring to, without roads, we can't get from point A to point B in a manner that's safe and a manner that's going to cause us to be able to have, you know, the capability of providing, jobs for our people by having that commerce with the outside of the nation.
Hagamos kiki walk nam pi mamu is much mam walk by the time walk ma mam ke nam si patch and the kiki mom ke potholes mo ba ka mom ke hike walk I have masam of joy mat be the term idam hagam mat pam hagam cham senior thagam matasi masam ma ha wuchi hagaki mo muy kap joy kia at the time joy hagam masam manyo the mo hagam talora ki mo on walk mo ke mo mom sure walk po ia da pi mo sis ku ke to mas mom nye mat mo wuchi ke mo ku ta tập sa ba wa pa te gam na pi te ma hugam to lo ke mo pia u ke hai chu huk am tian da we ma te ke ba wa ko ya hu bi mas mo ma the mo ba wa pa pi mo sis ku ke to wa ko ya hi da te ma hugam cham a ma sha hugam pa cham si ap che okay bom bom ang Leander.
Yes, and what I just got through talking about in this previous segment is going to lead me to what I want to talk about next, and that has to do with bringing jobs to our nation. Bringing jobs outside of what the nation provides already as under the executive branch, but to provide jobs for all the people. At this point in time, we haven't really taken that or gone down that road to where we can actually become as districts or as individuals to enter into enterprises, to go into a business of some sort. And at this point in time, I believe that that is possible to do that because of the grants that are out there, that individuals can apply for. And so, when I say bring jobs to the districts, one of the things that I am familiar with is that leasing land. And I know people don't like to lease land because leasing land results in a lease that may be for 50 years. But the important thing that we always have to remember, though, is that that's something that we would like, the road we would like to go down, is that 50 years may sound like a long time, but it's not us that is going to see the benefits of that. It's going to be the people that are coming behind us, and that's who we're looking. That's who we're looking, or thinking about, is those that are going to be coming after us, so they can utilize that, for their lives, to make their lives better. Because right now, without jobs means everything. Jobs leads to dependency. We want to break away from that dependency that individuals have, but we can't give them the tools for them to go out there and earn a living, within their communities. A lot of people have to go out the nation to work, but they should be able to come to this nation and work here, and live that fruitful life that not just all the people, but Americans have that that ability to do. So I think it's important. And so going back to the leasing of land, the misconception is that when you lease land, you lose it. No, you don't. You still own it, but there's someone else is going to be they may build a facility, they may build a business on that. But when the lease comes to an end, the district or whomever is leasing the land can either renew the lease for another certain period of time, or they can take over the lease and reclaim whatever is there. So if a business was placed upon that land, that business now becomes the owners become the people, or the districts, or the individual becomes owner of that building and the land, or anything that was improved. And one of the things that that I also want to touch on too is that infrastructure is very important. Infrastructure causes those things to happen, causes those businesses to be able to to start, because we need water, we need sewer, and we need electricity. And I want to commend the Geek Association for building homes on the nation in some areas that were just desert, because now those homes that are there's infrastructure, there's water, there's sewer, and there's electricity. And based upon that, someone may want to come in and tap into that for a business, or maybe even to build their own house, and it's going to be there. That's just the beginning, And so again, I want to commend the Geek Association for doing that. And that's just the beginning. As I said, there's many things that we can do, but jobs is more important. and that's something that that we all need to to realize, is because we have not only responsibility to ourselves but responsibility to our families and our people, to be able to to get to that next step, so we can be more self-sufficient and not have to be dependent.
Okay. Ito bas ita mat but wai ketuk imam si oita him od idam chipkan muy chidam mo chipkan ia am chum shay masmap chum sa joji mat mo iku ta chuki mo iku ta chuku mo muy chata chuk pion mat ya chipka it tam jo hagam up sha up ita jo nam pi ma muy sama mo mo chum kita pa aga church kan map tomo hi ko ham hama ge chewet mat pupi hap tam bo hai chona to ki ko hai choi tian da mai cho koi hai choi mo mo to wo ge mo chum iswaf kim kita ita pi hiu kita sita chewet pia moi chet pia chum shas bit mo hobi chbo ma thama bo che mat hutas po usta ma mo ma ke ai tak matamo uak chit ita chewet ada pe hasi ke hutas paus tamama ta ke chap sha mas mab nyaid ma cha wam chip ke churchkran matamo shai kupyo ita jewet tambo mak tambo ma tamo oi ap how much up shai ha mak ta hanoi ke kik association matabo jo mo na ta idam kik mo choi kamuch mo hoki mo si tacho ita mo hoki electricity mo pa ita shu ta mo chum kita mo choi mo to mo wow oya nei hoki ta na choi ke pui pa cha si sa pam choi ke mo mukyo wo hoki mo ta ka hoka ita mo ma ge che wa tam bo hai cho na ta ame ita mo pa ka che ka pa ka hoki mo pa ka leased land mo mo tra bi mo sis ame chot ba tuma hoka mo si tacho ke sta sa ba wa itam manya pa ag businesses and tolgaj. All right, Leander?
Yes, one of the other items on the platform is that I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but I began to see this, that there's a lot of occurrences on our nation having to do with wildlife. And when I speak in wildlife, I'm speaking of the fact that we have wild game on our nation. We have deer, rams, animals that that our people have hunted in the past, and we still do. But I've noticed that a lot of people from outside the nation are coming onto our land and starting to hunt the game that that is on our in our area, that that's considered our reservation. And if we don't take, or if we're not don't take a concern about that, then I can imagine that it's going to get out of hand to where it's going to start affecting the wildlife. Because right now we don't have any data on information as to what is out there. How many herds are out there, the number of herds, number, and if we don't have that calculation, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's people out there that live in those areas that go hunting and they see the number of herds that are out there, number of animals. But I think that's something that we should track and toll as a nation, to be aware of what's happening on our nation. And if we start experiencing poaching, or people coming out and hunting illegally, then that will give us an idea of what we need to do. But in order to do that, and I say what we need to do, but that's what we're proposing, is that we need to have that right now. Because if we let it go on, then we may suffer from that at the end by not being by not being proactive on that. And I think being proactive this time, I think, is something that everyone would agree to, because what's here has been here for generations, and we want it to stay for generations to come.
And just based on what he's talking about for the livestock, I also want to talk about the dogs. I see a lot, because I drive to work every day, and I see, dogs on the road that are not fed, they're real skinny. So I know that's another issue, and that's another thing that we need to look at, as well as the doggy population.
Hega mas agma bo aga wildlife nam pi masama chek much mo choi kita hai choi ta ta kam mon oya po moi chi tam mom ha gak tu de hua mom hukach ma ta hu or hai choi hega bas mas manyai to mo si moi jem ida mo mu ta chek ha choi nan ko American hega mo pit autumn một bị wap ke inu hap ya pap cho na ka itam hua cho ha mo mo cho pa ha pop cho mu hap pi ui ko mu hap mo pi reservation ya hugam chum snye dam matamo achim mo ba chi kau ka chuki itam ma ba chi kau ka chuki mat pasi masa ma bo chu ita hai chu to da kam matamo sha ma bo aga control matamo sha nye da na pi pakai mas pi match mas mas hai chon oya po ani hai chu hu si je kwa o hai chu nan ko mawe to hai chu mo oya po no to work I the tam chu to no chu pi match ko mas ma chums mahama nye ta matamo si hi ko si ha nye wo po ki mo nye matasi mas ma o pi mo ha hiu ku kam matabo I wa pi pa na pi hu ge mu kam da achim chum to wi kam achim mas ma nye mat mo mo chum hu ki matagam boy ha po kam ka matagam up mas ma chi de mo na shkia oya po hu kam mato mo hu ka chi I the tam chu chik anime sha ki hu kam mo ba go mo ba up in hai chu ki mo si mo ita him ba up che hai che ba wa idam go mo pi huk hai pi hanyu kut ka hu ge up ma hu kam mat chum mo I wa ka matam ba cho I ku ta chi ta mo ba ka wild land or hai chu nai cho nan ka mas chas mas ma hanyu ku da ka cho to ka ai kan to mo chum pa ma an.
Another item on our platform is reconstructing the Human Resources Department. Right now we know that it's not running efficiently and there's a lot of tribal members or even just other members that are applying for jobs that are not being called back and it's not done in a timely manner. So another question that we ask each other is who's looking at these applications, who's determining that who's who's right for these jobs or who passes the next phase of each application through the hiring process. So that's another area that we want to look into and make sure that it is done effectively and efficiently for everyone that is applying, because a lot of our people or even other people on the outside go to other jobs because it takes a long time for human resources to get back to them. So a big thing about it is we need to make sure that everybody in the human resources is doing their due diligence to make sure that these applications are processed in a timely manner and getting the right people in these positions.
Hego masha kuki mo ba ga nam pi masama chu ton no Adam Human Resources Department or thema hego mo mataki to hama I ka chip kan to mo wi hi ba I to sky je mas hemo chep choi mo si ta hi him ma to hama pu chip kan hebe chep aga itam mo na ka chip kan ma to si ta hi to po andem komo po hebe po chip kan po ku ke mo si ta hi mi ta oya thema hugam matam che mnye idam matam oi pa chi oi ka ka o mo si nye mo has cho si ta him has cho si ta him matam wa taper matam chem chip kan him ia has cho si ta him matam hama mo interview mo ba ka mo hama mo mnye ta pa ka taper ke bo che how idam mat sa pya chip how idam at pya chip gi wo so gi mo ba ka human resources or si ta him ke them idam at hama ka mo ba ka mo si nye ta chu ma has cho si ta him che mo has mas ma at pasi mas mo kamer ta ma so ta mo hi hki ga da fa ma ma. Okay, and
the last item on our platform is healthcare. We know that healthcare is a big issue as well, from jobs and getting services to our people in the community and the ones that have to come from off reservation to come and get services in the community. But healthcare is another issue, excuse me, that we want to look at as well, because it's a 24/7 facility and we need to make sure that it is run effectively as well. And we would like to make it their own entity, just like the Geek Association, TOUA, etc. This is another area that we really need to work hard on and focus on what needs to come next in making them their own entity for the nation.
Hugam bashag nam pi masamash matam bui ke ton Adam health care ma chachi ma murch thuki or but pashache ton Adam ma murch thuki ida mas manyoi da mat pum sa mo shei mo shei bai chi bi nyoi ma tasi mas ma moi ta phugi ma ta doma ma ta hujer ko mudat ma hujer wo ki mo mas ma chim chui gat mo hokyu ma ta hujer do mudat bim ho wo ma chik ton o tam nation ba hujer do merch dat ita a gu ki mo shi si mo I chi da mo bi him I ton o the healthcare mo bu apatak manyanya tak appointments ma samach oya de prima ida mat bi da mo chim si oida. Okay.
And just to add one more thing, to a little more to what Ann just got through
Sure.
talking about, was one of the most important things that we have to realize is that, when you become your own entity, such as Ann made reference to the Geek Association, Thanatham Utility Authority, the college, and even TONCA.
Hmm.
When you can dictate to your organization in terms of the finances and the human resources for jobs, then you have that ability to cut through the red tape. You have the ability to actually take care of what you're seeing needs to be done in an expeditious manner, because your service that you're providing to the people is very important. And as with the Donald Nation Healthcare, they need to have that ability. And once they have that ability, then people will see that the services will start to improve, because they don't have to get permission or have to go send their budgets through someone else. They take care of itself internally. And you'll see that once that starts happening, things will start to get much better.
Mo ida mo manyam ki gida ton adam healthcare ton nation healthcare mat pagug jam si kawar ke mo sta pa mat macher do merch da gug jam mat mas ma banya ida mat ba chi si sa pa mo mudat mat mo hojer o ak chide riar che pa hojer o ak chide hugam mo ka ga chip kan mat gam hojer do wat gug jam mo homo che mas ma bjoig mo ka wuchak ton adam nation ko ya si tashim huki hasi mas ma nyoi di ta riar mat phu mo ka ta budget sam hupi ui ta ma po hi ka mas ma nyoi mat ta sha hujero merch da ta hujero mas ma choi mo ka ton adam ki ka so sin choi ko ka chim TONCA o ton adam utility mat ba chim nyoi mo ba ga entity mat moi gaur ka hujero mo merch da ha ga ma shup shim sha so how much more cook kid more home high cherry kaka bamjek one of the item residents as we makaka mat pache the has to kaka mat kaka. But one of the things I wanted to touch on, which you already explained a lot with working with Geek on building homes, and as you know, Geek Association builds ADH compliant houses. So that their hallways are larger and and a lot of the restroom and what have you, the bedrooms. One of the residents wanted to find out more about how you can assist or how you can better support programs or support not just maybe not just the Geek Association, but other ways that you can support somebody that would, once they leave from here, need a more specialized house other than what Geek can build. Example, roll-in showers. Example, just different other things that they need around their area of the housing that's more than what Geek can build. And also what the caregiver. Now you talked a lot about Donald. Department of Health and Human Services and the healthcare, and what caregivers assistance can be for that. So I don't know how you want to answer that question.
I can answer the question, and if Ann has anything to say afterwards, she can do that. But what you just touched on, and I want to share this because this is how I grew up. Is that when we come into this world, we're babies. And babies need to be nurtured, they need to be fed, they need to be taken care of. And as we get older, and we get to be my age, I'm not gonna say how old I am, but I'm getting there. But I can see that I'm not like I was when I was younger. And I can see there's going to be changes coming on as I go, as I get, progress in my life, God willing. Um, and so we kind of turn back into children again, to those infants that require care. And and our elders were parents at one time. They went through the phase that we all did, and they become parents, and now they get to a position to where they need that care. And I know I'm glad that that housing is able to provide those homes to them. But sometimes, because when you're dealing with grants, or you're dealing with funding, they have certain requirements as to what they can do. And I think what they're doing right now is just basic. But there's still other things that need to be provided. And I would like to see that the nation be able to pick up the slack on those things that aren't being provided, on those homes that are being built, to make them adequate for those elders that are going to be living in those homes, because it's a requirement. I would like to see more family involvement with the elders, but sometimes that doesn't happen. And when it doesn't happen, at least we can provide that for them, while they're still able to take care of themselves in a manner that's not unsafe. And they know themselves better than we all do, what they're capable of and not capable of. But that would be the support that would come from the nation in those areas that aren't being provided by the building of the home by Keek for them.
Okay. Did you want to add?
Yes. Well, for myself, I work with the cancer patients right now, and that's a lot of stuff that I come across with our patients and our clients. I don't think, when the homes are built, they don't really understand, later on in life, like Leander says, as we get older, we're going to need that kind of capacity in our homes. And I've taken one project leadership class, and we talked about how to build a home, the dimensions of a home and stuff like that. So for me, I think it would be great to to just at least add some type of extra dimensions in these homes that are built. Get with our partners, get with the people that that are experts in this field to teach us or to show us and help us. We even can get our community members in these positions that can learn the skill and make the homes better for the elderly as we age, because we don't understand that we're going to need this later on in life. So I know that, because I work with a lot of my clients now that need that assistance, where I go off the res and I have partnerships that assist with what needs to be put in these homes for some of our clients.
Nursing Care Authority Keek masma nata de Keek matamo iku da je mom him ami o bo juhu pa hand rias ami matubio him oimadat matacho iwum ta ita chekabitashama da ia itam seniors bant pa mo si tacho ita matpapacho si kauka ita ambacho chi masi banyo ita hugam ami mo wap kon mo gatai ko da mia I hu do shot bahasi masma cheg mo mat hums de shama hugam mat mo prosap merch go wheelchair to mo shower ami hugat si hugam kaka da ia ko ya mia sha aga ke Leander mat masma na pe masma mat macet macet tacho ita anyoko ta kamo mat me gada misaku ho ke hemo mo macet pai ko tacho mat mitawam chabia kai mat mo mashabi masma nyoid mashak tahon adam mosha hai upa asi masma hawam te Keek from segaliar work mat motoa como hawam matasi masma si safam bai cho ihana to idam Keek ma work itam chak ida bashpa ga animal ma sha ga mo samach mat muke chip kan ma manya bakai ma hum chip kan ka cancer patients mo samach ma take ma mo nyai ami haki tam mo masma choig mat nyai matasi masma mo pai chi sapo ina to ida ki na pe mo chek pian ia mos amachod matasi masma boju idam pa hugit shogi matasi masma ya chu mo ya sap bai chu ida chip kan ma work Keek so na bidia here basrai mark the noik Leander and Ann matusi mi boy tiambo I know mo murk oyapo ida dam jewo chme hatasho get the kamach kam matasmas mo ipui ida corner Pahama pa tiambo matamo chui mo hasi masama masama ikuki tita. So first of all, Tonka wants to thank Leandra and Ann for being here today. I know that they traversed the nation in trying to get the vote out for the people and trying to get people to vote for them. So I want to thank them for coming here, giving us just a little bit of the time. So just for the residents here, I want to give it to them to end their closing and say any last words that they want to say. So, Ann?
Okay. I just want to thank Isidro and the facility here for inviting us today. It's a really great pleasure and opportunity that we have right now. And I just want to let everybody know that I'm very grateful and I'm very glad to be going on this journey with Mr. Mase here, because it's something eye-opening. And like somebody said one time, it takes special people or certain people to do something like this. And I'm really appreciative for everybody that votes for Mase and Garcia team, because like I said before, it's not about standing out. It's about what you can do for the nation, what you bring to the nation. And for myself and Mr. Mase, we're here for the cause, and we're here to fix some of the causes that still need to be dealt with. And I just want to say that thank you, and vote Mase and Garcia.
Leander?
Yes, yes, I too want to thank the Tohono Nursing Care Authority for allowing us to be here this morning to be able to get what we would like to provide to the nation should we be elected. One of the things that I want to share real quickly is that growing up, I was very fortunate to spend time with my grandparents. To have the relationship, not just looking at my grandparents, but actually seeing who they were as a person. And that's something that I think back often on, now that they're gone, and I try to use those to provide that to my children, raising them, and my grandchildren, because that's very important, and we're sitting in a facility right now, providing this information on what we want to do, and that's very important that we do that, because we need to continue this. Our people need to understand that, as I mentioned before, when you come into this world, you're an infant. You can't take care of yourself. And also, as we get older, we sometimes get to that point too. So it's real fitting to be in this environment right here, talking about this, and everything that we've talked about, what our platforms stand for, is because we believe in it. We believe that change is necessary, and the only way that we can bring around change is to be strong and to be, to think outside the box, and because a lot of things don't work perfectly, but it can get done. And through my life, when someone said you can't do that, then I said, well, no, you may tell me to do it, but I'm still going to do it. I'm going to do it in a way where it's going to make a difference. And that's part of it, is that when we do these things, it makes a difference. We may not see it now, but we'll actually see it in the future. And this isn't about us. This is about what we want to do for the people, because it's about you, the people, the members of this tribe, that that we're running for office, and we want to be able to provide that to you. And and one thing too is vote. You have that right in this country to vote. Other places in other worlds, you don't have that, but we have it here. And your vote really matters. It matters because you have a belief in what you want, what your life to be, and what you want your government to provide for you. And if it's not being done, then get out there and vote, because you'll make that difference. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.